right, what's up to the members of the squad? We're back. It's another one-on-one with a supervillain. We are literally getting ready to come on the point where we're almost at a year of these, and you can tell the transition and changes in people's lives that have happened over the past year, and especially the year that we've had going into a new one. And it's funny to bring that up because this member, it's their birthday. So happy birthday. Let's just go straight into it.
Thank you. Speaking of transition, I got my meds.
Congratulations.
Yep.
The
Very
world's getting back the world's getting back to normal.
Yeah.
In a sense. So now you can go ahead and go through the process. So congratulations. I know that was something you had to put on hold at first with the panorama that was going on.
Yeah.
And everything. So it feels good. Having your meds now, get ready to start, starting the therapy, and then your birthday. So everything is just rolling for you.
Yep. It was exciting. I started laser hair removal, and I got my appointment, got my testosterone blockers and my estrol. So
nice. All full steam ahead, for lack of better words.
Yep. It's
so
like no physical changes because it's like only been barely 2 weeks on the medication, but like just I'm happy taking them twice a day. So
nonetheless, I think that's what matters the most is that you are happy. You're feeling closer to who you truly are. That's the most important thing. How was your birthday overall?
That's fine. It was just regular. I worked. Then we had like greasy cheeseburgers, fries, and a milkshake for dinner. So I was like, all right, nice. I made affiliate on Twitch, so that was exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I miss cheeseburgers in life. I miss them.
Yeah. I went walking for the first time in a year 2 days ago. My legs are still hurting. Because like I walked for over an hour, immediately developed blisters on both feet. So that was,
you're like, your body, because your body's like, what are you doing? You haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear. That's really good to hear. I was gonna ask you, I wanted your opinion on the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match.
Oh my God, I loved it. They say it's a match of the year competition type thing, and I agree. We're very early in the year, but I think it's one of the best Dynamite matches as of yet.
I agree on that. It's so I kind of hate the expression when people do it so early. This is a match of the year contender, and you're like, it's just because we're barely into the year.
Yeah, it's like Oscar contender in January,
Right, exactly. I enjoyed it. I think I was just telling my buddy Chauncey, we were talking about it. I was like, this helped Britt Baker more than anything else.
Oh, and of course, yeah. She looked incredible. Like the crimson mask looks so good. Like the camera shots were great for her, and you may have caught her doing it, but it didn't matter because the match was still so good.
Right. I mean, you take that little small part out. I think, again, it helped her out. It gave her a better look than what we've seen. It's like Thunder Rosa didn't need the help. Thunder Rosa is already established as who Thunder Rosa is. You know what I'm saying?
And like what added to it was Rebel normally has a towel, but she didn't have the towel. So just use my jacket. I'm like, all right, this adds a bit to the story. She's sacrificing her jacket for her doctor. It was so great.
I agree. Like I said, it's just it's when people call match of the year stuff early. But again, this helped out for Britt. Again, I really just wish they would get their shit together with their women's division. I really do.
Last night had a lot of good story development for the women's division. Like it was a mostly boring episode in my opinion, but like multiple women's stories were developed and advanced. They had the Jade Cargill promo against Red Velvet. Her and Nyla teaming up. I think they came out together on one of the darks or the dark elevation.
Yeah, it was on a dark. Yeah,
those are too long, but we don't need to talk about that any more than we have in the past. Then we had the Ty versus Nyla match. Didn't expect Ty to win. Happy to it. And then Allie runs. Yeah, because because not they faced each other twice before, and every time Nyla's won. So I'm like, if Nyla wins again, why are they still having this match? But
which now helps.
yeah,
But the run-ins and everything from Ali and then
yeah,
Sheeta,
Cheetah, yeah, Allie and Cheetah.
I
It
was
was,
like, I'm so confused.
but
I
like it actually set up next week's match, which is more than they normally do.
which
So
is fair.
yeah,
I guess I'm still a little, I'm still a little upset, if you will, about the results of the tournament and how they ended up, because I
yeah.
just can't get in the real Mizunami. I just can't
Like
because,
I love her, but like you should have showed the matches on television instead of YouTube.
well, not even just that. For me, it's she does a lot of stuff gimmicky
Oh yeah,
that if we're looking at what a wrestling match is and how it moves, the shit she does, like even during the finals match with Nyla, I was like, that shit when Nyla was just sitting there, I'm like, come.
my yeah. I like it, but it doesn't make sense because if she was angling towards the corner where the person is, fine, it makes sense. You're pulling yourself up to build up
Mm-hmm.
speed, but if she's not, so I'm like, but my favorite comment during the pay-per-view was her entrance immediately made her cooler than everyone else in the AEW roster. Just like the full entrance gear and her swagger, she had so much more personality than everyone else in the company.
This is true. I mean, but again, it's dope to have that, but it's like it's got to translate. Let's just be real. It's got to stay. I just, again, she can work, but it's like it's certain things. I get the gimmick that she does so much, and it's like this isn't Japan.
I
We're so
Yeah,
picky,
that's
and
they don't.
as a worker, for me, it just was like you're leaving so much open space where work can be done.
Yeah, and because I've been watching a lot more Joshi stuff, they
Mhm.
do so much more comedy than American wrestling. Like they just have so many comedy spots in many matches. Not almost every, but like a
Mhm.
lot. And like many AW people are used to comedy stuff, but the TV show hasn't as embraced it the further along the more episodes they put on the air.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
they had more earlier on, like Orange Cassidy in his first Pac match or Pac, I can never
Yeah.
remember how to say it. Like, he did the classic indie stuff, roll across the ring, but then, like, they just had him once his feud with, Jericho and then Cody happened, he just sort of started working like a regular wrestler, which
I
is
think
not what,
somebody
like,
tell.
most of his fans enjoy, so
Well, that's probably the people in the back. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the producers, because
yeah,
again,
I don't
a lot
know.
of the producers in the back are ex WWE guys who
Yeah,
know about working on TV,
yeah,
and
and, like, because there's no crowds, like, it's hard to say what would have happened either
mhm.
way, but, wrestling aside,
Okay,
because we can always talk wrestling,
this is
uh,
true.
and I've watched your review, I watched it despite saying I probably wouldn't watch it. I never saw the 2017 version, so I watched the Snyder cut, then immediately watched the 2017 version, and there's some stuff like added stuff that Whedon added, dumb, shitty. I don't like. There's a lot of stuff he added I like more.
I've been telling everybody this. People got mad at the comedy stuff that Whedon did, but I was like, what did Snyder do with a lot of shit? He added a
And
lot of comedy. I'm
and
like,
like I make the joke, but it's possibly believable. You make all his slow motion regular motion, you chop an hour off that movie.
did you hear the study they did? They found out 10% of the entire movie is in slow motion.
It's insane.
It's
Like
insane.
it's
It's insane.
and like so I've had conversations, but like not in depth,
Mhm.
but like some of the stuff I loved with the Whedon version is like one, they don't murder people. Like they don't murder Steppenwolf. I love the twist that like he gets afraid because he can't beat them and the parademons turn on him and plays back to the beginning of the movie when the parademon smells the fear of that one criminal that Batman was like chasing down or staking out. And
Right.
like and then like they boom tomb out of there. And Snyder he's like impale, decapitate, then Darkseid squash head. I'm like, all right, okay.
It was
He
here
lo-
was It was an issue I had, and I didn't say it in my review, and I thought about it after because I sat back and thought about it when I was talking to one of my buddies. The biggest issue is with Cyborg, not just his performance.
Oh yeah.
Him holding the box is dumb because he keeps saying they're coming after the box, when in all actuality, if we think about it, they should come after him.
Yeah.
He's the mother box.
Yeah. And like I like people say, yes, I feel bad for Ray Fisher
Mhm.
because I believe everything he said.
Mhm.
A lot of his stuff was cut out, but I
Which we
also
saw. I mean,
yeah,
we saw a lot. Like, we got it.
but I also didn't enjoy a lot of the stuff that we got. Like Zack Snyder really loves making a kid watch his dad die for no reason. Like his dad could have done all that and not died.
I also have an issue with how he had Joe Morton portray Silas Stone. Silas Stone, for every iteration of Cyborg we've ever seen, Silas Stone is an asshole until the moment he dies. He is never soft with Vic. He's remorseful about Vic when he has the crash, but then he gets all his technology in Vic, and all he's concerned about is the technology in Vic. In Snyder's cut, he does the tape where he's telling Vic what he can do, which is cool. But then when he goes, "Let me talk to you as your father," he never does that.
Yeah. Like I think I barely recollect his appearances in Teen Titans, the comics. Like,
Mm,
and I know it was basically when he's dying, he tries to reconnect with Victor.
mm.
But like also, Cyborg is also wildly different in the comics because Cyborg is like, hell yeah, I'm a cyborg. I'm cool with this. Like, I've gotten over it. I do real cool shit. Which like in the 2017 version they still don't have a good relationship, but like I like how Cyborg's like, I know what to do. I've already know how to do all this stuff.
Right.
Like he didn't need to listen to a tape recorder to learn
It
how to
told
do
the
it.
mother box in him tells him what he can do.
Yeah. It's and like the drawing at like it's nice seeing him help people, but the scene looked ridiculous to me. But and it's
Thank
like
you. I'm glad somebody else found this.
well, like, why are we watching a CGI bull fight a CGI bear just for him to walk into Wall Street? I
It's the
guess
it's the it's the iteration because bulls and bears are the stock market as we
I
know.
know, but like, you don't need to show that.
Again, for me, it's
Look,
me and Winston's argument about the helping the random woman. I'm like, he watched this woman's life for about
he,
5 minutes.
he cyber stalked this woman at random.
Random woman, not the woman, not a chick from school, not a girlfriend he might have had. I was like, okay, because when she had the kid, I was like, did Vic have a kid? I'm thinking to myself, did Vic have a kid he didn't get to see or something?
It's confusing. Like, and you talked about the Icelandic women singing for no reason. Like every slow motion scene has a song that doesn't fit the scene, but
No.
Zack Snyder probably likes the song, so that's why it's there. Uh, it's long. It's fine, but it's very long. And that's why when I watched immediately, like I was
Mm,
6 hours on Sunday, like,
mm,
oh, this 2017, this is moving at oh wow, there's the parademons immediately. Oh,
mm,
that's they explode and it forms the three boxes on the wall. I'm like, sure, you're rushing things, but you kind of I see why you needed to rush things if we're to believe that the 4 hour version or much of the 4 hour version was left in the editing room floor. You're
mhm.
like, all right, how do I piece this together to tell a 2 hour story as best I can?
I kept saying, and even like I said in my review, there's a good 3 hour movie in here,
Yeah.
but his ego wouldn't let it be.
All right. Like when I'm watching the Snyder cut and they do I I don't know if it's Rikers Island, but they go in that the first fight that they have with Steppenwolf. And like,
Themyscira.
no. When the Justice League first fights
Oh,
him
okay.
with the
You talking about
prisoners
basically? Isn't
inside.
it Russia? Isn't it Chernobyl or something like that? Because it's where the power plant is.
Well, that's the final fight, but there's the one that's in Gotham and they're underwater and then they
Right.
go up.
You're right. You're right.
But
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and
You're right.
Barry runs around just to push the sword back to Wonder Woman and is like, all right, we're going to help the people out. And all Barry does is runs in front of the crowd while I think Cyborg's leading them all out. And I'm like, Barry, just carry people out. You have super speed. And then the 2017 version, Barry, he has that conversation with Batman. Batman's like, just save one person, then you'll know what to do. And he just carries people one at a time. I'm like, that's what the Flash should do. That's what he's great at doing. And I'm like, I guess, wow, he must have really hated the heroes being heroic. Like, I don't.
It has to be dark. That so
Yeah,
again,
he's got his view on what superheroes should be, and I disagree with it. So
that's he has his view. They have to be dark for him, no matter what.
Mhm.
And so here again, Watchmen, dark, but it's a graphic novel that's set in a dark time. We got it. Man of Steel, dark. The reason Henry Cavill signed on to do Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, but the reason he didn't resign was because him and his team wanted creative control because they did not like the dark way that Superman was being treated. He hated it.
yeah, I agree with you, Henry.
We agree with you.
Like, Man of Steel sets up Pa Kent telling his young child, "You should have let those other kids die." Like, what the?
Like, no, Clark, save yourself. Let him die. What? Just so you don't reveal yourself. What?
Yeah, like, no, thank you. And then, I mean, it's been joked about for years, but it's like, no, don't save me. I could easily save you. I have super speed. You don't have to die in this pointless scene, which, turn about to Cyborg. So, like,
I don't. You don't have to technically die. This could just happen. Like what? Yeah. Again, but the thing is also, like I keep telling everybody, people keep forgetting. If everybody's like, "Oh, Warner Brothers didn't let Snyder show his vision," they didn't like it. Clearly, they knew what it was and didn't like it because they fired him.
Yeah, like for the people that enjoy it, that's great. Art is subjective.
Yes.
I watched it mostly because I was seeing all the different takes. I'm like, all right, I need to film my own opinion. And like the recommendation I've kept hearing was watch the Snyder cut, then the 2017 version. So like I could get the full picture of like, all right, what's different? And like, yes, many shitty jokes in the other one, but stuff like I like the Russian family because it shows.
You do?
Yeah. Because
I'm like with a lot of other people, we're like, what the fuck is the point?
So my reasoning for liking them is you see the actual scope and people in danger. Otherwise, this Steppenwolf thing happens, nobody knows about it. Like there's no real threat other than they say there's a threat, but here are people actually in danger, and Superman and the Flash and Superman's like, we need to save those people. And like there's the corny shot of him carrying the building. It's not a good looking shot, but it's a good like point of like, yes, Superman's going to save as many people by carrying a building full of people out of danger's way. Like that's why I like seeing the Russian.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, when you break it down that way,
you get to see the Justice League saving people. Like in the Snyder cut, obviously he didn't want them, but then like everybody died when he put the thing together. And I'm like, wait, how did this kill Superman? I'm not really sure. And like no one is sure why the mother boxes were afraid of Superman in the first place, or those thousands of years where Superman wasn't here, why they didn't call out for
why the mother boxes didn't. Why did they wait till Superman was dead? It was like you were saying the mother boxes see through time almost.
It's like they hear him shout in death, but like, will any shout activate them? But also, he wasn't always on this planet. Like, and they specifically say there's no more Kryptonians. Like, why do you know who Kryptonians are for one? Like, are you familiar with Krypton, this planet where he's the only survivor? And they don't have. I think
Steppenwolf says that, right?
Yeah, I think he says that to maybe the Parademons or Desaad.
I think he says it to Desaad. But the thing is, knowing about Krypton, I can see that because again, Darkseid has been taking over worlds. So knowing, and again, clearly these are old, again, from even the scene of him fighting the Amazonians, the gods and all that, these are old entities. So they would know of Krypton before it exploded.
Yeah, but
however,
they don't have superpowers back then.
That was because Krypton, the only reason Superman has a superpower is because of our atmosphere.
Yeah, it's the sun and the atmosphere. Like he's in
the yellow sun in the atmosphere. If it's not for that, if those two things don't happen, He's not super.
And I also like the motivation that Whedon gave Steppenwolf in the 2017 version, because like in the Snyder cut, he's trying to make amends to Darkseid and has to destroy 10,000 planets.
Fifty
And
thousand.
yeah, and we're not told what he did to upset people. And in this, like the 2017, I shouldn't say this. In the 2017, he's like, "Finally, I will take my place among the new gods." I'm like, "Oh, there's good motivation. You want to become a god, and you failed previously."
Which also is a movie coming up.
Yeah, like I
Again, I
also
understand.
like the older design more, but that's because I think just the newer design is so edge lord ridiculous over the top. I like how he looks like he's got like a battle tunic on and it's just a helmet.
The face, the fixing of the face in the Snyder one, I'm with. I like the armor, the outer aesthetic of it in the 2017
Yeah.
more. I guess again for me, as I've always been saying, it's hard. People say this movie is so great because of what it's being compared to.
Yeah.
Like if this stands alone as a movie, nobody sits there and really goes,
Oh, that
"Oh
four
my god,
hours was I
amazing."
mean, I'm sure the cultists would
The
say
cultists
that.
would, but the average person is not saying. Let's just be real. If
Yeah,
you don't
like
have a 2017 theatrical release bar, you're not watching this and you're like, "This is long."
oh god, yeah. Like I did like 2 Twitter threads during the thing. I'm like, I'm only a half hour in. Nothing like Cyborg and Flash don't show up till like an hour or more in.
Superman don't show up till 2.5 hours in.
Yeah. Ugh. Like, all right. Well, that could the Superman tries to murder the Justice League was in both versions. I'm like, all right, well, he just really loves and I guess they all want to see Superman fight the heroes, but I don't really
Okay,
need
I'm
that.
guessing the whole, but see, it's weird for me because the purpose, as in both versions, is if you bring him back to life with this, the same way that Luther created Doomsday, it wouldn't be the same him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he goes, he comes out, he's crazy as shit, he's whooping all these heroes. Then Lois Lane in front of cops and the
Oh my god.
army
Yeah, I remember it.
says, Clark,
Batman
Clark.
calls him Clark.
Batman says, Clark.
It is one of this happens too much in the comics recently. Superheroes need to stop calling other heroes by their secret identity names in the middle of the battle. It doesn't make sense.
Because
And she is
here's my
right next to
question.
people.
Here's another question. And this is kind of something that it doesn't make sense. So in the end, because this is a small part, in the end of Snyder Cut, he gets the farm back. And Clark is like, how'd you get the farm from the bank? Bruce says, I bought the bank. That's a Bruce Wayne move. We got it.
Yeah.
Here's the small problem. Clark Kent died.
Oh my god. Yeah.
People
Like
forget
Superman died, Clark Kent died.
Clark Kent died. So now, okay, you're telling me he can never go back to being Clark Kent because they posted an article in the paper that Clark Kent died.
They had a big Smallville funeral for him
They had a
too.
Smallville film. There's a plot for Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those small little things. Like, I get it. You have Superman back. That's fine.
And it's so weird because obviously at the end of BVS, they showed the dirt levitating off the casket, implying, oh, he's not dead. Because the fans know, everyone knows a Justice League movie is coming and Superman's got to be in it. And also, he didn't die in the comics. He just got like beat up so much. He goes into like a Kryptonian coma where he regenerates and,
Mhm.
and like, the stupid black suit, god dumb.
The black suit has a purpose in the comics.
Yeah,
It actually charges him up more.
exactly. Yeah, and
And Snyder's just like putting him in the black suit.
like, well, like, and he's just walking down the ship. He's like, "You want this big armor? You want this big armor? You want the red suit?" He's like, "I'll take that one." Why? The scene is pointless.
And then people will be like, well, in the Arrowverse, they have Tyler Hoechlin wear the black suit, but also in the Arrowverse, the black suit wearing Superman is from another world.
Yeah, it's like it just reminds me more and more like it. reminded me that I really enjoy Aquaman. The more I think about it, like I have a lot of fun with that movie. And
I had fun with it. I
yeah,
definitely had
Snyder's
fun.
not for me. So
Well, I have fun with Aquaman. I have fun with Wonder Woman. I had Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman 84. I
yeah,
got
we've talked about that
right. We
briefly,
talked
but
about
I
that.
like the colors in Wonder Woman 84. I
But
like
the
that it's
story makes
brighter,
no sense. But
and
that's
there's a lot of racism. So
there's a hell of a lot of racism in Wonder
yeah,
Woman.
yeah.
But
So
again, it's just been past couple of days has been amazing on social media, namely Twitter, because they're gonna bring them back. I'm telling you. I'm like, first of all, HBO Max did this. Warner Brothers didn't want to touch it.
yeah.
That's why HBO Max did it. They like, well, HBO Max is gonna do it. HBO Max is not gonna drop $300 million on a movie.
Now I haven't seen any reviews, but I presume you've been watching Superman and Lois.
I have not. I watched the first episode and
Okay.
I was into it.
Yeah.
I was one of those people who was like, because for me it was like this is a post-crisis show. I was like, yo, are y'all gonna address shit? And everybody was like, you gotta wait. And so I haven't had the chance to because I've been so busy. But
Okay.
I keep hearing it's great.
Yeah, like I enjoy it, but I can hopefully refrain just to the pilot. But like, because they do the reveal at the end of the
Yeah,
pilot.
with the Luther. Yeah.
Yeah. So like my question, like, and the hypothetical is like, how's this gonna work? Because it does exist
Mm-hmm.
in the same Earth Prime
Mm-hmm.
universe, like
Mm-hmm.
that has a Lex Luthor. And like, does Kara ever visit her cousin? Do they? Because they didn't like the kids don't know that he until this episode, and like they
Well,
are
yeah,
cousins.
the one thing they've been doing they started doing with Supergirl, and because the biggest issue I had with season 1 of Supergirl was constantly referencing Clark. I was like, yo, if you want Supergirl to survive on her own, quit bringing up her cousin. It is a stat. We already know who the fuck her cousin is.
Yeah,
Quit bringing them up. Then when they were like, we're casting an actual Superman, everybody was like, why? People, well, not everybody. Most people were like, why? And so then you go from that to, all right, we're gonna have him in here, but then we're gonna make Kara stronger than Clark. Okay, I'm fine with it. I'm cool
Mhm.
with it. But now with Superman and Lois and Supergirl ending, it's like you would think at least Kara be like, "Hey Clark, how's life post crisis?" Well, I got 2 kids now.
Yeah, and like, do they have the memories of both histories? I can never because I know they built the ring that brings the memories back of
it's only if
pre-crisis.
it's only if he wakes them up with the
Yeah,
ring. Remember, so
yeah.
if he doesn't touch if anybody, if it's not
Well,
John or
like,
whoever,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
touch you with the ring, you are just living your normal life.
yeah. That's why, like, I don't know how caught up you are in any of the shows, really, because I just watched
The
this
episode of The
week's.
Flash,
Yeah,
yeah, where they just brought Abracadabra back and
yeah,
he was
yeah.
talking about it.
So,
Yeah,
like, because he has the memories, but like, that's really that's a conversation that makes your eyes goes cross
because
because of
it's
time.
like, wait, he's from the 64th century. His mind is embedded with all of these timelines that are not supposed to exist. Because technically, if he's from the 64th century of this Earth, there shouldn't be anything.
Mhm.
Because I get they're telling you because what the Arrowverse, as I will always call it, they're
Yeah.
telling you it's still a multi. They're low key telling you there's still a multiverse.
Well,
This is just
and
Earth Prime.
yeah, also at the end of Crisis, they showed other Earths. It's just like, all right, all the Earths that we knew about became one Earth, but here's all these other Earths for people watching at home because
Well, no,
you
I
had the
think
Titans Earth, you had Doom Patrol Earth.
I'm so mad they put them on 2 separate Earths. I still am upset about that.
Yeah, because they Doom Patrol was in Titans, which I watched season 1, not good. Yeah,
Of what Titans?
yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Doom Patrol because I was like
No,
season
no, Doom
one.
Patrol I love. I love.
Okay, Doom Patrol. I was like season 1. Brandon Fraser is fucking the maid in the first 6 minutes of the show,
Oh
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, what?
I love Doom Patrol. Like I understand. I'm okay with them being different Earths because they have different Niles Calders, and one is way more evil than the other. So
Timothy
like,
Baldwin is just the epitome of an asshole, evil daddy, and everything.
yeah, like Titans Niles Caldor, no, you are a monster.
Oh yeah, he was a monster too. But I like those shows again. Titans. I'm glad that season 2 somebody said, "Hey, we can add this thing called light." Like
I haven't
I
gotten there yet, but I'm
like in
waiting.
season 1 is so dark because you're like, do I need
Yeah.
to adjust the brightness on my
Oh,
TV?
it should exist in Zack Snyder's universe.
It
That's how.
is so dark and like it's just like not dark story wise for those watchers. I'm talking about just dark visually. Like
Yeah.
you're like the fuck.
Oh, when you heard Batman say a fuck, what was your reaction? Of course he says a fuck, or
No, my reaction was you literally pumped everybody's head up to hear it for him to say it in an unnecessary 20-minute prologue where Jared Leto was pointless. Just as you had Jared Leto say that whole little monologue just so Batman can say, I will fucking kill you. That
yeah,
was it.
like for the people that enjoy it, okay, but why do you really want to hear Joker talk about masturbating Batman? I don't get it. No, thank you.
Then not only did you spent money to bring in Leto to get Affleck to redo a few reshoots, to bring back Manganiello, to bring back Fisher and Miller, but then to bring in Amber Heard of all people.
Like, oh yeah, there's no problems with her going on.
This was and like it'd be a different story. This is the thing. This would be a different story if this was during the 20 when he was shooting in 2016.
It
It'd
would,
be
yeah,
completely
but, like,
different ballgame.
you can tell none of them are in the same scene at the same time. They are all shot separately because of pandemics. But like also that Bruce wakes up and it's a dream. Why is he having dreams about people he's never met? Why is he having dreams about teaming up with villains or villains that know his secret identity? And like,
Well, the
okay,
theory
Zach,
is
does he have a
because
superpower?
again, he had it in BBS.
I know. It was so, but like that, I'm like, all right, you're afraid of Superman because he's powerful, and then you also dreamt of it. But then, like, it's like, no, no, I'm like, what? This, all right. And then the Martian Manhunter rolled, like, yeah, I've been here the whole time, but I didn't actually want to help out when you need my help. I
Memes have
just
been
wanted to,
the best. The Martian Manhunter. I'm here for the fight, and it was like, but the fight was a week ago. Him doing the Homer Simpson in the bushes, like, yeah, like, yo,
it's like,
we needed you a week ago, dog. Where? So one of my buddies and his wife, they called me the other day because they asked me when I saw it how I felt, and then he was like, "Oh God, I don't know if I'm gonna like it." So then he called me to talk about some him and his wife liked, it. And I said, "That's good, congratulations." Then I was like, they were like, we were talking about the Martian Manhunter. I was like, why does the Martian Manhunter need to dress up and need to disguise himself as Martha Kent to tell Lois to go back to work? His wife was like, well, that means he understands because only Martha could have that conversation.
but
He's been
no,
around this
because
dude.
like Lois already has a relationship with General whatever his name
With
is.
General Swanwick. Yes.
They could have just had that conversation.
And he could have turned it to the fucking Martian Manhunter then.
Or this is my idea ever since the movie first came out. He could have gotten a Green Lantern ring at the end of the movie. Because then he doesn't need to be an alien that develops spy satellites to keep track of another alien because he's afraid of aliens in the first movie.
Which again does not add up. No, we forget about that from Man of Steel. We forget. We were so happy. People were so happy hearing that Harry Lennox actually was Martian Manhunter because everybody was like, could he be? Could he? I guarantee you, he wasn't originally that. And everybody was like, could he be? He's he's a Martian with advanced technology, and he needs to help the government track Superman.
Yeah, like he's like, remember, like Superman crashed that probe at the end of the movie.
You'll never find where I am, General.
It's so dumb.
Like,
because like he could have just been Jon Stewart the whole time. Like, and that would have been like great. He gets the ring at the end of the movie.
Which lets you know that lets you know what DC was doing. So the thing with DC films and TV, I've been talking because I talked to a bunch of my friends who are writers, producers, everything on both sides. It's real if it's outside of the Trinity, pretty much the Trinity and maybe Flash, and that even gets tricky. there is a war of attrition as to who can use what.
It's so wild. Like I
Like, remember,
remember.
Arrow had Deathstroke for so long, and people love Manu Bennett's Deathstroke. But when DC Films was like,
Oh yeah, I
we're
remember.
going to use him,
Well, I remember Willa Ford was talking about like, oh, we developed our own Suicide Squad, and then we had to stop using them because
mhm,
Films wants to do it, so we are not allowed to play with those toys anymore. And it's what like even back when Justice League Unlimited was on the air, like they were no longer allowed to use Batman characters because the Batman was also on the air.
also,
And it's just like, well, kids, we don't want to confuse kids. I'm like, kids will be fine. Like, we're not, kids aren't that dumb.
but it's the thing, like I said on Twitter the other day, and the biggest thing I've always said, you do not, if you're DC Films, you need to learn you do not have to always focus on the Trinity. You have a plethora
They have
of
so many characters.
so many, which is why when Blue Beetle finally was like they have a direct, because it's been in development for the longest.
I
So when
like since Smallville was like, because they had that Booster Gold Blue Beetle thing, and there's
well,
like,
that was
oh, they
then.
might make a TV
But then they went like maybe 2 years ago when Aquaman was about to come out. Then they were like, we're doing the Jaime Reyes one. So that was happening for sure. So then it was just sitting with no director. But then they said we're doing Angel Manuel Soto, the director from Charm City Kings. Boom. Then they was like Zatanna's happening for sure with the director from Promising Young Women. I'm like, thank you. Keep doing this. You've got you already said you're gonna do Constantine. I get it, but you don't need to. You don't need to touch Swamp Thing. There are so many other characters outside of your normals you tackle that
like,
you can do.
and one thing, like, what did they not see Into the Spider-Verse? Or like, what the greatest superhero movie of all time currently?
Probably
Like,
did, but that's the problem is you have a studio who hopefully now it's seemingly under the right ship. But at first, you had a studio where when they decided they were going to get into the universe game, by the time they decided to get into it, they were literally looking at the major studio who was already light years
oh
ahead
yeah,
and was like, we need to be here. So then you hear Sony, they're like, Sony ain't doing nothing. And Sony is like, bitch, we slowly piggybacking off of this.
yeah. But like my thing is, Warner Brothers has a history of making really good animation.
Oh, the
Like
animation is phenomenal.
like
Have you
so
watched all the animated movies, the animated universe?
all right. So yes, I have different feelings than you because
Okay.
I don't want R-rated Justice League stuff. Like, don't show me Batgirl to see her explode. No,
Well,
thank
it's
you.
not even, it's just the story in general.
Yeah.
Like, I
Like,
know, I understand they took some liberties. There are
yeah.
some things I was like, you didn't need,
Yeah.
but in
Like,
general, their
like,
stories were very cohesive.
oh yeah, yeah. They had like all of those movies in the New 52 animated universe.
Mhm.
They have the coherent story. You can see how they connect to each other. I just don't like them. They're not for me. I like the ones that are mostly unconnected. Killing Joke sucks, but like I mean, my favorite recently, well, as because I loved more of the sillier stuff, like
Mhm.
Batman Brave and the Bold meets Scooby Doo. Love that movie.
Okay, I get what
Uh,
you're saying. Yeah.
Teen Titans Go to the movies and
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, both also great. Like,
Mm.
there's some new ones I'm looking forward to. There's the Batman Richard Dragon movie that came out recently. It looks like an old 70s sort of kung fu type
I haven't
animation.
seen it. I don't know if I got the email
I don't
about
know
that.
if it's come out yet. And another one they just announced was Justice Society World War II.
I've been getting all up, so I get the press releases from that consistently and all the pictures, and I was like, I might be in it, but I think I know what they're doing. And
I
again,
saw the trailer for it, so I'm like, all right, yeah, I want to check this
well,
out.
this is smart because if that movie is good,
I'm sure it's gonna play off the end of the previous universe
not even
thing.
just that, it helps out Black Adam.
Oh yeah,
It helped because that's what I'm saying. If that movie is good, because it's the Justice Society, and we know that's what Black Adam is leading to. Like, they're like, we don't have to give you the Justice League, but that's again, which is a beautiful thing because again, you do the league, you have to have a Superman, a Batman, etc.
Mhm.
Like Justice Society, you don't have to have that.
No, no.
You
Like,
don't have to have that.
excuse me.
Okay.
But like one of my things is like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, still to this day considered one of the best Batman
Oh
movies.
yes, it
It was
is.
a theatrical
All together.
animated movie.
Yeah.
Uh, WB, come on, like you can see, like you saw the success. Like, why don't you try to make some theatrical animated movies again? Like you maybe Teen
Different
Titans
different
Go, it
studios.
wasn't as successful.
Different studios.
Yeah,
There-
it's so
It is so it's weird when I tell you Warner Brothers Animation, Warner Brothers Theatrical, Warner Brothers Television. When I tell you it is such it's so it's the hardest thing to navigate and talking to people in it who are trying to like talking to story editors and like writers for the shows who are like when they're breaking stories and they're trying to put a season together, like The Flash, they go crazy because there are so many characters. Remember, if you remember in the series for the first 4 seasons, it was all speedsters.
oh my god, yeah. We've
It was
talked about that before.
right,
It was
right,
finally they gave us the Thinker and we're like,
which was a
"Thank
break,
you." Yeah.
right? Because they couldn't get anybody else they wanted to get. So finally they were like, we'll give you the Thinker. Cool. Because Savitar should have been the final season
Yeah.
of The Flash.
Yeah.
His greatest enemy is himself. Now you're like, all right, the Mirror Monarch storyline happens. And granted, COVID happened.
Yeah, that was basically why the season finale ended up being in the new season. Is that
Yes.
my guess? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's right.
Riverdale did the same thing.
Yeah.
Understandable. So like I'm not gonna fault anyone
No,
that.
you can't fault this. You can't fault, but it's
There's a
so weird.
pandemic.
The biggest thing that to me it is with these shows now is you can literally see how COVID affected filming.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
paid attention and noticed, like when you see people legitimately socially distance, you're
Oh
like,
yeah. Like
oh,
well, like I know from Riverdale, like I can Vanessa Morgan, she plays Tony Topaz. I mean, she
mm,
got pregnant during the and so like they're doing a lot of you can see when her scenes are like we're not near anyone else and we're covering
they're
up the
real tight
pregnancy.
up and everything.
Or then, oh, here's the pregnancy because they did the 5-year jump. So
It
like
made sense then.
yeah.
Well, that was like Danielle Panabaker from The Flash. Before Killer Frost, her and Killer Frost walked off the last, she got pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And so she got pregnant and she started to show, like, if pregnant, we've seen pregnant women who one moment they might be small, and the next minute it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, you can start to see it in her face. So that's why all the Killer Frost and Caitlin Snow shots were up close and tight.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for years, television knows how to shoot around this stuff. Like, it's
Television
not.
is the worst in telling that story. Like, oh no, we just like looking at her face. You're like, she's pregnant, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, or you have a weird show like the X-Files, and just like aliens did it. So
Man, aliens got them pregnant out of nowhere. It's the X-Files. The X-Files is that one show where I told everybody, if you do, you know how you can watch some other shows and jump in the middle and understand it. The X-Files was the one show where if you did not watch the first opening 3 minutes, you have no idea.
I binged all that show this past year. Like friends of mine started a podcast called X Tracks. One host, that's their favorite show, X Files. The other one, their favorite show is Star Trek, the original series. They're best friends. They had never watched the other's favorite show, so they're each showing each other an episode, like, and then they talk about it.
Yeah.
And like the X Files fan is like, I'm only showing you Monster of the Week episodes because I can't show you the mythology episodes out of order because they make no sense. And like her seeing my reactions to mythology episodes and basically the end of it is like Chris Carter needs to be taken off this show because all the best episodes don't involve Chris Carter. Like he's like, all right, buddy, whatever. I assume you're enjoying. Are you still enjoying Batwoman? I remember you were at the beginning of the season.
I didn't get to, again. I had to stop watching it time, and I've tried to get back into it. But once I heard what they did, I said no. I'm happy for Wallace. I am super happy for Wallace. But it. Carolyn Dresden did what HBO. Well, not the same. They fed into fan fear.
Yeah.
Because the problem with bringing Wallace is dope and she deserves the opportunity, but the problem is bringing Wallace in, you just shit on everything Javicia did and try to carry the show.
This is my biggest. This is what I want, but I don't think will happen. Like from the start, this season has been weird because Kate Kane's still alive, has been a albatross hanging around the neck of this show. Like if you didn't like, because they wanted to avoid the bury your gay tropes, and I can understand that. But what I want is if Kate Kane comes back, let's have just two Batwomen operating in Gotham, working together as like a cohesive. That would be fun and new.
Actually,
And
but see, I think the problem with that again, the point of this season though was to
I,
let Javicia shine.
I know that's
Now, here's the thing with and I understand the trope, and I was even talking about it back on I think I was on Screen Junkies or something. We were talking about
oh
it.
yeah,
I get the trope of not wanting to kill off your gays. In this situation, it was understandable though.
yeah, I agree. But I know a lot of people
No,
were
no, I know,
already
but they were so.
angry.
But I think but that was the problem because I was like, I get the trope. As a black dude who sees a lot of negative tropes in TV, I understand it. But if you're looking at this story
Oh yeah,
and
no,
you
no,
hear,
I'm with you.
no, no,
I'm
I
with
know
you.
you. I'm just saying for the people watching, like if you
Oh,
hear the story,
that's right
you
there.
hear your lead star has quit the show,
Yeah, and you don't immediately
and
recast.
you don't immediately recast. You didn't just say she's gone. You didn't recast the character. You made a whole new character.
Yeah, and this reveal should have been done at the end of the season when Jasivia already shown and won everyone over. Like
And now,
that.
like I said, right. And now you only halfway in the season, you've killed any momentum she can have as the star of this show because now either A, people are going to focus on what Wallace will do as Kate Kane, or B, tune out altogether.
Yeah, it's they they shot themselves in the foot either accidentally or intentionally because they know there might not be getting a third season,
They
or like
got it.
because you always said they were getting two seasons, no
They
problem,
were
and
getting
like
two. They were getting two because of the character. Because you can't take the first openly lesbian
yeah,
superhero, give her one season and cancel it.
yeah,
Cool, I get that. Then you automatically run the possibility of another season. Why? Because you just put a black woman in the drive. So now, if you cancel it because of that, you're trying to say, "Oh, a black woman can't handle the show." You don't want to catch that headache. So
yeah,
you were looking towards season 4. Now, if it gets canceled, you're like, "Fuck."
yeah.
But it
So
did get renewed. But it did get already. It already got its
okay,
renewal order, if I'm not mistaken. It already got its order.
so up until this news story came out in this episode, I was loving everything regarding Ryan Wilder. The Alice stuff and the crows. I'm like, why are they still a focus? Like, because they kept King Kane alive. That's why. And it's just like,
Mhm.
Alice, I respect that you act like you're a villain in Gotham City. Like, you belong in Arkham Asylum alongside these other villains. Why aren't you in Arkham by now? Like, you are not the end all be all villain. Why do we keep getting more of your
Your daddy
backstory?
has had more than enough chance to lock your ass away.
And like the story of like all crows are bastards, I get it, but you didn't need to make up a new cop organization to replace cops that also exist in this city. It doesn't, it's
Doesn't
so
make
confusing. Like, all right, well, Gotham rich people decide to hire a private security force to also have the exact same free reign as police officers, but we
the
also have the cops.
the same. Not they not specialized where they can only do certain things. They legit have the exact same. It was one of those again. It was trying to. I guess it was
Like, I guess they
the
just,
story. It's like, what are you doing? You're put like you said. You're painting yourself into a corner.
yeah, like, do you just not want to deal with Jim Gordon? You don't need Jim Gordon for the cops to be like someone in charge struggling with a corrupt police force, which you're doing with the crows anyway.
Well,
Like,
here's my biggest issue with that, and I've always said this. When you again, this I don't know if you heard me say. I said it on the tweet when I was talking about the characters to bring up for Warner Brothers. They're supposed to be a Batwoman movie or Batgirl. I don't know. It's a Batgirl movie. I'm
mhm.
like, stay away from the Bat family altogether. Because
It's
why? As always, we subconsciously hear Bat family, whether it's Red Hood, Nightwing,
yeah,
who else.
like fans have expectations or desires, and or like it reminds me of uh WandaVision and the ending of WandaVision and like
Mhm.
the joke articles. WandaVision fails to deliver on a promise it never made. Like, why did you think there would be big reveals? We didn't promise that. So
Like
why are you getting angry?
But yeah, and that's the thing. So when you do, so again, doing a show, you want to do Batwoman, fine, cool, you're gonna do it. It's set in Gotham, fine, cool, do it. You just have to know the Gotham PD are available. That's it.
Yeah.
You just got to make it be clear. She don't need to talk. Kate Kane doesn't need to talk to the Gotham PD for nothing.
Yeah.
There never needs to be a reason she goes there or
Like
near.
all the crows could just be cops. Like
They could just be private security. They could just be private security at that level. They don't have to even have cop power. You're just private security.
It's confusing.
It's just weird.
So what'd you think of the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Well, let me say this. I love the fact that every show is going to do what they need to do, and that's discuss the grief and the after effects of the snap and the snapping. I'm not calling it the blip, I refuse to. But all the shows are showing you that. It's telling you, like, because it's so easy for any type of story or whatever or franchise to say, all right, we talked about it, that's it, let's move forward. No, we followed these characters in almost a real life sort of situation. And so you forget these two dudes technically were both snapped away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I enjoyed it when I first watched it. When I thought about it more, I'm like, there's parts that just annoy me, and I'm like, well, that's a bit dumb. Like, one, this is just a general thing in comics. Stop making therapist antagonist jerks. Like Bucky's therapist was unnecessarily antagonistic. She was,
but until she revealed she was a soldier, that's what made it work. When she revealed she was, I agree. I was like, why does she have to be this jerk? But when she said she was a soldier, I was like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it does pick up. The other thing, and this is just a comic book logic that I have to deal with, and I know that the show is about racism, especially from Sam's point of view. When he's going to get the bank loan, and they're like, all right, no, we can't give you a bank loan, but can I have a selfie with him? I'm like, he's an Avenger. Sure, like you might have rules, but like if you work in this world and you said to like your bank manager afterwards about, yeah, an Avenger came in for a bank loan, don't worry, I turned him down, you would get yelled at and or
gotta be real life. You've heard stories of like police officer heroes, or not, I know it's not a global level, but you've heard of them who've tried to get business loans, et cetera, and be denied. So the fact that the dude was so giddy that I'm with an Avenger and then he's trying to get a loan and Sam's like, he even says, yeah, forget the fact we don't have Avenger money, whatever, because we're not Avengers all the time. He's like, we're not, because that's the truth, which is dope. We're not Avengers 24/7. Like, yo, I got government contracts. Dude's like, well, I just can't give it to you. But can I still get the selfie? That's a real thing that happens, though. I think that's the thing.
This is not a real world. That's the problem. Like in their world, they saved everyone. Like
no. I get what you're saying. I get exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah,
but I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
And beyond that, like, all right, this person denied him a loan. You're still Sam Wilson, good friends with the king of the richest country in the world, and like Sam, all of these other.
If you look at Sam, who Sam is now, if we look at who Sam Wilson is. Think about it.
I'm not saying he should just like ask his friends for money, like pitch the same, hey, here's the rates where I want to pay you back. Like if you want to do the loan where you pay it back, you as an Avenger that saved the world, you're basically like, this is like Denzel Washington walking into a bank asking for a loan. You think a bank employee is going to turn down Denzel Washington?
If Denzel don't have the credit, they would. If Denzel ain't done a movie in God knows how long, like, yo, Denzel, your credit ain't shit. We can't help you, sir. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying as far as comic book. But I think again, one of the things that we know it's a fantasy and fictitious world.
I know, yeah.
But we have seen a lot of real life implications throughout it. And I think this is the first time full on we touch race. Because again, in the comics hit it, because of course we all know at the end at the 6th episode, he has the suit because I hate the toys come out. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Because the toy leaks how it looks.
And like, even beyond this, if he really wants to own and his sister has given up, he should find a way just to try to buy it from his sister, like, because she doesn't want any part of it. She's okay giving it up, but like,
He said, but remember, he's respecting the fact,
yeah,
and I
that it's
always
a
respect,
family history.
it's not even just the family history. The fact she keeps telling him, "You've been gone 5 years.
Yeah.
I've had to do all this," and so he's trying not to be. If you notice, he's like, "I'm not trying to be like, I got this. Don't worry about it." He's
Yeah.
like, "This is
And,
us."
and one of the other ideas I had that I would have enjoyed seeing them try to do is like, she's tried for loans multiple times, but they keep denying her. But he shows up and a celebrity, and like, he uses privilege to get get an
So
advantage.
that's a good thing. But I
Like, that
think
would have been a, like, good split between him and his sister, but, like, they just wanna go with this story, and that's fine. So,
because
like,
again, he's got to face it all the way. Because again, the story of him not. Did you ever read the comic?
I read some of the
The
comic.
one when they gave him the shield and how
I
America
like,
was like the country was like,
I
no.
remember the first comic, I forget, I think it was an Avengers issue, but, like, Tony Stark and him save people on a bridge, and there's these 2 little kids that want a picture with him, and Tony's like, just, "Hey, here, Sam." They'll take a picture, and they're like, "Which one first?" And it's a little white girl and a little black girl, and he just, like, takes a picture with both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, "I know what you're doing right now. This is," and because he can see, and they do the mental cap, like, "All right, there's gonna be so many reports about who I decided to take a picture
Get
with
to work
first."
first, regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the beautiful thing about it. Again, that's the thing though. Overall, I love the episode because again, we didn't have to hurry up and put them two together.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was the
And,
number
like,
one because
the
everybody wants to see them together. And like, let's give a second.
like, the Bucky stuff was fun and also depressing and heartbreaking because, like, "Oh, yeah, you're never going to admit to this guy what you did. Like, there's just no way. You've, become friends with him. It's too late."
If you tell them, it'll kill them.
Yeah.
It'll kill them.
And,
But
like, the going on the date and just being perfectly honest and
how old are you? 106. Look,
yep.
shit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting too because again, Bucky has to live a life on his own.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
all his friends are, well, I mean, Steve's still alive. Like,
I
he
think Steve's dead.
visits.
I think Steve's dead.
I don't think so,
Well,
but,
unless they
like,
just have him old and retired and
because
just like
I don't remember if it was a rumor, but, like, I thought I read a rumor that Chris Evans would be returning in the makeup or whatever.
it'll be flashbacks probably.
And yeah,
It,
but, like, you know, he just seemed, like, very old because he still got super soldier serum. He's
because
just
he
slow.
wasn't frozen, but because he wasn't frozen, he still. That's the thing people forgot. Only because he wasn't frozen did he not age. So with him not being frozen and living a life, yeah, he got super soldier serum in him, but he still gets old. It doesn't prevent him from getting old. It doesn't prevent him from dying. It
Well,
just
in this universe, in comic book universe, it does slow his aging because Nick Fury had the same thing,
yeah,
and he
and
was been like ancient forever. Like,
but also, but also Steve got shot in the back, dead ass on the steps of the Capitol.
oh yeah,
So.
yeah. Like,
But look, I got to get up out of here.
yeah, he
And,
ages when the story requires that he
oh
age.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
again, at the end of Avengers Endgame, so we're talking 5 years prior. So that's 2023 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe years. He goes in ice in what 30 something,
wouldn't it be 40 something?
40 something in the 40s. He goes in ice to 40s, but now he doesn't. So he was already like 19.
Oh yeah,
So it's damn near 100.
yeah. But, like, what was this thing? But yeah, like, because I remember, because multiple times happened in the comic. Like, I think Grunwald, he wrote 10 years of Captain America comics. Of course, he had Captain America's super soldier serum stop working and he started aging for a while.
Because it's an easy out.
Which,
I mean, it's an easy fix, shall I say?
if people have time to read 10 years of comics, he wrote an amazing 10 years of Captain America comics. Like, I remember the issue where it's Red Skull is meeting up with the Kingpin, arguing over, like, stuff, and, like, Kingpin's like, screw you, you're a Nazi, we're gonna fight right now. And they strip down into the boxers, they put a force field, and Kingpin's just kicking the crap out of Red Skull, and it's awesome. And then Captain America's doing stuff in the background.
They retconned Kingpin a couple of times to where It was just he was naturally super strong, and then they was like he might be a mutant because I remember they did at one point. They were like Wilson Fisk is a mutant.
Yeah, I
His
think
only
in
ability is
this it
strength.
was just like I remember in some Spider-Man comics too. It's like, oh, do you think this is fat? No, it's muscle. I work out a lot.
A lot, like it's bulked out muscle. Like his stomach is his abs are not. It's not just their abs are just that big. It looks like gut.
Oh, I don't know if I ever asked you this question, but in comics, there's two
Mhm.
kingpins. Not like physically two kingpins, but he's written in two separate ways. When he's the Spider-Man villain and he has a laser cane, or when he's the Daredevil villain and he's just the meanest, most ruthless person in the world. Do you have a preference?
The Vincent D'Onofrio, because he was so cerebral.
Oh yeah,
He was Wilson Fisk on every level you wanted him to be, where he was evil and sadistic. He was cerebral enough to know, all right, I can spin all this around and make the entire city be like, Wilson Fisk, we love you.
yeah.
And then
Like
tell Daredevil, I'm going to then look Karen Page in the face. Oh, bitch, for real? Matt Murdock is Daredevil? Bet.
yeah, like it's the I think it was better described as the ridiculous super science supervillain that has like I've got all the supervillains on my payroll and my cane shoots gas and lasers versus I will ruin your life, Matt Murdock. That's all I want to do. Ruin your life.
Well, because Matt Murdock and the reason, and I'm gonna get ready to go because I gotta go film
Oh yeah,
something.
no problem.
The number one reason if we remember from Netflix, it's only one real reason he wants to ruin Matt Murdock's
He
life.
threatened his wife
He
once.
threatened his wife. He don't give a shit about he threatened Vanessa that one time, and that was the last. That was all Murdoch said was, "I will make sure you never see Vanessa again." He
All
did
it
it in
costs me
season
is
2.
a stamp.
All I need is $7 postage, and since
Yeah.
he was held. Like, if you ever want to see somebody who loves a woman that much, it is how Wilson Fisk said, "I'm destroying your entire life." Well, listen, like I said, I got to go film some
Yeah,
things.
man.
I hope you have had a wonderful
Break a
birthday.
leg
First of
filming.
all, I want to say thank you for allowing me the honor of sharing some of your birthday with you. Again, I know to you it's like it's another day, but you know what? In this panorama,
I mean, this was the birthday present I scheduled for myself. So
happy birthday. Hope you enjoy. Tell the people in the squad, because that's who's seeing this, how they can talk to you and catch you on Twitch and support you now that you've made affiliate.
I am at Jolene 00 negative. You could also follow me on Twitter. You could also check out the Bird and the Bee. This is two wrestlers, the tag team name. Willow Nightingale and Solo Darling. I know Willow's still great. I think Solo's still okay post this past year, but follow them. They're real cool ladies.
What promotion?
Independence.
Independence round. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, congratulations on everything. You know, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you get to be you and you get to, because you get to smile a whole lot more now. Because remember when the pandemic started and you were like it was on hold and you were trying to figure out stuff. Mm-hmm. Now you get to go for it, and as long as we get to do these, we get to follow your journey with you, which is an amazing thing. Go watch some Joshi. Go and enjoy your evening and everything. And I'm gonna catch you a little later. All right.
You break a leg, man.
I will. Take care.